Sex is the life force energy that runs through us all. Can you use sexual energy for your spiritual evolution? Or perhaps for emotional healing? Is it even possible? Clinical sexologist Dr. Martha Tara Lee will explore all these and more on Eros Evolution on Om Times Radio.
Welcome to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. This is Dr. Martha Tara Lee. I'm a clinical sexologist based in Singapore, and my company is called Eros Coaching. That's EROS coaching.com. And I am speaking to you right now from Sydney, Australia. I'm here for the Really Good Sex Festival, where I will be presenting a workshop. And I had some issues with my Wi-Fi. So a friend of mine, Steve Harris, he came over and rescued me. He's lending me his portable Wi-Fi. So today's show, we have two guests. And I'm very, very happy to be able to finally connect with Monique Darling, because last year I wasn't able to do our show because I overslept. It's extremely embarrassing. And I'm so glad that she graciously agreed to give it a second try. So today's show is about loving the skin you are in. Learn how to love every aspect of yourself, from your body to your heart, mind, and spirit. So let Peter and Monique take you on a journey of their best tips, tricks, and insider secrets of living a life well lived. So a little bit about Monique before we go on to introduce Peter. Monique Darling, she's a workshop facilitator extraordinaire who has led 800 workshops in the past 5 years. That's a lot more than I have. She is the founder of Juicy Enlightenment, an organization dedicated to empowering people who are questioning the assumptions of how their life should be, and to offering tools for self-expression that create trust, inner knowing, and wisdom to enjoy the life they have. So you can go to her website, and I'll talk more about her. You can go to her website for now at juicyenlightenment.com, or track her whereabouts at whereintheworldismoniquedarling.com. A little bit about Peter. So Peter Petersen has been teaching for 13 years and is a certified Shenzhen Qigong teacher for the past 11 years. So I'm pronouncing it the way Chinese would pronounce. And he has been teaching in health clubs, hospitals, retirement villas, and several different wellness spas, resorts in Mexico and the United States. And you can find him on awakenbodyandsoul.com. That's awakenbodyandsoul.com. So welcome to the show, Monique and Peter.
Hi, honey. We're so happy to be here.
Greetings.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit more. What do you mean by love the skin you are in?
Well, for me, then, it's been such a journey to actually be able to love my literal skin and love my body. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But this place where Peter and I really correspond is loving our body and being able to move in it, loving our spirit, loving our mind, and like the different aspects, our emotions. And so we're going to give you a lot of tools and tips and tricks to be able to start accepting yourself exactly the way you are right now, instead of thinking you need to be better or there's any shoulds or any have-tos. And so we're really, really excited to dive into that territory, because we love to geek out there.
Thank you.
We also love to geek out about self-care and healthcare, and how to clear our minds and be more present with one another. So it's combining both of our expertise and passions for basically loving ourselves as best as we can.
So could you begin to share with us some of the ways how people could actually start doing that?
Well, the very first thing is to start being willing to look at yourself vulnerably, and like, where are the places that you are lying to yourself in your life? Because so many of us think that we try to put our best face forward, or we're trying to show up in the way that we have this ideal self, or the thing that we think people are going to like. And so we start putting ourselves in this box, and we start pushing away these other aspects of ourselves that most people can see anyway. We're only hiding them from us. And as we start really being willing to unravel the places that we haven't been accepting or looking at, then we get to start playing from our full selves. And so the first step is really being willing to be vulnerable with you. And it can start by sitting in front of the mirror. It can start by looking at where are your harshest judgments on people outside of you, because wherever that's showing up are the places that you're judging inside of you and you're not willing to look at it. So it's so much easier to see it outside of yourself.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
Dr. Lee, do you ever have emotions come up and not want to deal with them, or do something to distract yourself so that you don't feel those emotions fully?
Definitely. I think one of the big things that I do is sleep. I sleep a lot.
Well, sleep is something that's very good for your physical body and helps regenerate cells in your body. But sleep can also be a distraction and a way to not face reality. So what we guide people through a myriad of exercises that help people dive deep into that vulnerability of being whoever they are in that moment, instead of trying to dissuade themselves or distract themselves from the moment, and just be more real. And it's something that we pride ourselves and love to do.
That's great. Can you name some other distractions besides sleep? TV being one, I'm sure.
TV, phone, radio,
Sex, drugs,
magazines, gossip, just gossiping and not having real conversations with other people. These are all ways that we like to distract ourselves. Food, sugar, street drugs, legal drugs. I mean, there's so many different ways to distract yourself and not be in the present moment. It's hard to really gauge or even be cognizant of what's distracting you.
A lot of people distract themselves by being really busy, by doing a lot of things. And so whether it is that they're trying to get straight A's or they're trying to be the best at their craft, like whatever the thing is, they're so busy doing that they're missing out on what they're actually experiencing in that moment. And so it's so easy to distract themselves by, okay, I have this to-do list, but the to-do list never gets shorter. Like every day, if anything, then they're getting more frustrated and more overwhelmed because they're adding more and more things to it.
And many people put themselves last on the list, especially with their own self-care or health care, where they have to take care of the kids or the husband or grandma or the PTA or all of these different functions and meetings that they feel like they have to attend, and their health becomes last on the list. And this is what's really, I think, hurting many people in the Western world.
And also in your relationships, because when you put yourself last, then for a little while, then it feels like that you're doing this great job because you're in service to others. But very quickly, or sometimes not so quickly, you completely deplete yourself. And then it starts leading to resentment, and you start looking for ways for other people to fill you back up. And so that's why one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is really put yourself at the top of the list. And like we talk a lot to our clients and our attendees about reclaiming the word selfish and self-centered as you're coming back centered on self. Because when you take the time to take care of you and to explore your own bliss and the places and things that really light you up, then you have this overflow that then you can give to other people. Besides, you living in your bliss is already showing people, wow, that's actually possible.
You have energy and you have the inclination to want to help other people when you are really taking care of yourself first.
Beautiful. Wow, you guys just shared a lot of things. I really love it. Reclaiming selfish and self-care, self-center, self-center.
Yeah, centered on self. Yeah.
It's a practice. I mean, it's very easy to talk about, and a lot of people know about how important it is, but putting it into a practice and keeping it in your normal daily life, like as a natural rhythm, can be quite arduous because we all have very busy lives. We all have tons of things to do, filing taxes and getting the oil changed on the car and making sure friends are taken care of. These are all very important things in our lives. But a lot of times those things get in the way of taking care of ourselves by eating nutritious foods, getting good sleep, getting exercise, communing with your.
Yeah, the sound just got cut off. Yeah. Can you just repeat what you just said, Peter? Eating nutritious food.
Dr. Lee, did we lose you?
Hello? Oh, the call just dropped, so I'm going to try to get them back in. They are actually calling me using their phones. So
We're here.
Yeah, okay. Peter, can you just repeat the last sentence?
Basically, I was saying that we put all of the very important things about our self-care of like getting nutritious food and sleeping well and exercising and communing with our family and friends in a very real way get put on the back burner for a lot of these other distractions that we feel are very important. And really what is most important is that we're feeling like we're fulfilling our desires. We're feeling the most important things that really light us up and make us feel the most vivacious and the most electrified to want to move out into the world. And if you're waking up and feeling very depleted, or you're feeling like, God, I really don't want to go to work, or this is just not what I want to be doing, then some contemplation needs to be taken on how to change your life so that you can start doing what you really love.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And that's my portion, is I teach people how to clear their mind and be much more present with what is happening in that moment, and that's through Qigong and meditation.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in what you're sharing. I love the emphasis on focusing on bliss and what's possible, and from there we are actually able to serve people from this overflow of where we are at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's just a Western thing. I think in Asia, we are just as guilty of doing this, where we just give, and actually that's very much part of our culture, where we don't think of ourselves. And it starts from the fact that our parents don't have a habit of doing this. We have a break, and after this break, we will hear more about loving the skin you are in.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on Om Times Radio.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com. Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to the show. This is Dr. Martha Tara Lee of Eros Evolution, and my company is called Eros Coaching, and we are with Peter and Monique, and they are accomplished teachers. Monique has been featured in TLC and The Doctors, as well as various radio shows, podcasts, and magazines across the USA, across the United States of Singapore, United States of America. She specializes in helping people reclaim self-love and freedom. Her primary purpose is to help folks bring out their vulnerability in energetic embodiment and fearless relating. She guides from a place of understanding, and her natural exuberance is infectious. She's available for private sessions, experiential workshops, and cuddle parties. And you can learn more about Monique by going to juicyenlightenment.com and track her whereabouts at whentheworldismoniquedarling.com. As for Peter, he's been teaching Qigong for the last 11 years, but he's also a personal wellness coach. And his Qigong practice helps people to ground themselves into their now, to increase their present moment awareness of their behaviors and find solutions to problematic behaviors and habits such as eating, moving, negative thinking, and sleeping too much. Oh, that's me. The result of this toolbox of healthy information is that clients become their own health advocate and regain a sense of stability, peace, and well-being into their everyday lives. And his website is awakenbodyandsoul.com. So welcome back to the show.
Hello.
Thanks, Dr. Lee.
Thank you. So, could you tell me a little bit more about your history of how you got to the place of where you're at, of being able to love the skin you're in and be teaching people this really shows in who you are and in your voice, in the work that you do.
Well, it started for me back in a hot summer of 2001. I just walked into a room where a Qigong master was doing a workshop, and I started doing these moves and just felt completely electrified and connected to all that is after literally only 40 to 45 minutes of doing this practice. And I walked over to these doors where we were in this giant old Catholic church, and I looked out and saw the world as completely different. Like, I was so present with how the sun was peering through the clouds and how the wind was sifting in the trees and the brush and watching animals moving around. And I could literally see and feel energy moving through my body. And that was my epiphany moment of like, oh my God, where has this been my entire life? And I felt so completely alive and alert, but also relaxed at the same time. I felt like I never want to lose this feeling ever again. And that is what led me to become a teacher, along with the fact that I asked my teacher how old he was, and he said he was 63 years old. And I was like, oh my God, get out of here. You barely look like you're 45. And that was the light bulb moment for me. It was like, oh my God, I want to look like that when I'm 63 years old, like this young, virile man full of vim and vigor and just enthusiasm and strength. And I just became hooked on teaching this practice of moving your body in a very fluid and soft manner, which helps energy move through you efficiently and effectively. And from those movements, you gain energy, and you also feel very relaxed inside of your body, so that the energy is not nervous. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee and feeling, oh, I have to expend this energy. It's like I'm feeling very relaxed, and I can either read a book, or I can take a nap, or I can go on a 10-mile hike, or do whatever I want. So that is what led me on this process. And I started teaching all over and fell in love with retreat centers and helped start a retreat center in Mexico about 10 years ago called Present Moment Retreat. And from there, I came back to the States, and that's where I met Monique. And Monique and I just hit it off. We had one of those life-changing conversations where about 20 minutes in, you're like, wow, I think I'm going to be friends with this person for the rest of my life. And realized that we had some serious synergy and chemistry between us. And I was completely enamored with her authenticity, her ability to be vulnerable, and the amount of honesty and awareness that she had in her body. And when she offered me the chance to come teach with her, I was quite taken with the idea. And after we started teaching a few sessions together, I realized that this is one of the most amazing facilitators I've ever been with. And we've been teaching for about a year now, and completely enjoy each other's company and how we move and facilitate in the classroom. And so that's basically, in a nutshell, my story of how I became a facilitator and teacher. And I'd like to hand it over to Monique for her to share her story now.
Thank you.
So for me, then it started back in Utah. And so I had two things simultaneously happening. And so I grew up very Mormon, and I had a very, everything about my religion, about my family, it was all repression. And so I had my voice and choice taken away very, very early. And at the same time, then I grew up in a family of very, very thin people. They were just lucky. They ate just the same things I ate, but they were still very, very skinny. And so there was constant shame and that there was something wrong with me because I was the odd one out. And so I grew up hating my body and feeling like I was different because I had all of these thoughts and emotions and things that were not acceptable in the church or in my family particularly. And so I did everything that I was supposed to do that the church said and my family said, and I was still miserable. And I finally decided I can't live life like this anymore. And so 10 years ago, I actually found Cuddle Party. And that was the eye opener for me. And I found it online, and I bought some flannel pajamas and went and showed up. And that very first welcome circle was the first time in my life that I felt like there might be other people like me on this planet. And over the course of the next 2 years, then it started giving me back my choice and my voice, and all of the Cuddle Party rules have become so ingrained in my way of life that it's transformed everything for me. And at this point now, I've taught almost 450 cuddle parties.
Wow.
That's half of the workshops that I've led are Cuddle Party, because it really, really awakened so much inside of me about giving me permission to be the way that I am. And so it's been this amazing journey of being able to start expressing that. And Facebook has been a really amazing tool for me also, because as I started going forward in this world, all of these people loved me. And 5 years ago, I had this huge birthday party in San Diego, had 250 people show up. Many of the top sex educators and tantrikas and facilitators worldwide had come to this party to come celebrate me. And I still felt alone, and I felt totally unlovable and I was a fraud. And I got up there on the stage and said, look, I'm so excited that you guys are here, and I want to be liked and loved, but I can't feel it. And from that moment on, then I started sharing the things that I was most afraid to talk about. And over the last few years, then I've gathered this whole following and of people that are also being willing to be vulnerable. And we found that the more that we share of our deepest stuff, the things that we feel like are the most unspeakable or unlovable, but that are really uniquely ours, are the things that people most relate to and love us the most for. And for me, it doesn't make it any less scary. I continuously have breakthroughs, and it's still really, really, really scary to actually say out loud, hey, you know what? All that stuff that I talked about, well, I feel something completely different now, or there's a part of me that I didn't realize was there, or, oh, you thought that was big. Guess what about this? And it's really helped me through being able to look at myself and say, is that all you got, Monique? To be able to hold that space for other people in my life and be able to ask them to continuously step forward and show me what are the pieces they're most afraid to show me. And for me, that is the definition of loving the skin that you're in. And I went from having my family disown me and shame me and really, really hate that I was who I was, to now we've reconciled, and my mom's actually asking me questions so that she can start learning how to love herself.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I'm very moved, because looking at you, looking at your Facebook post, looking at your work, one would never have known this. I know we make all kinds of projections or assumptions of people from afar. However, to really hear how far you have come, in your personal journey is very moving, and I hope both your stories would inspire people to realize that loving the skin we are in is not necessarily easy. It is an ongoing journey, and it's different for different people, of course. However, we're not going to get better at it if we just don't start.
That's correct.
Correct. It's the key to really becoming self-realized of who you are, is just being real with yourself. And everybody has a different way of gaining that consciousness. Some people, it's going for a walk. Some people, it's being silent for a little bit. Other people, it's having a conversation.
Posting on Facebook.
Some people, it's posting on Facebook. Some people, it's making love. I mean, there's so many different ways to come to this place of being real with yourself. And what we like to do is help people find those ways, that path up the mountain that helps them become more real and deeply vulnerable with themselves.
What might be some of the ways besides cuddle parties and Qigong?
Well, definitely meditation and like being able to learn how to be quiet with yourself. And it doesn't have to be like, it can be sitting and being really silent and sitting in your own little pose, but it can also be active meditation. And you can walk out by the beach. You can go sit by a tree, put your feet in the ground, like whatever you love doing, use that as a meditation to start really celebrating yourself and allowing that joy and bliss to come through you, so that it's like, for me, that's the opposite of distractions, because you're learning how to be alone with yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything that seems conventional. Like for me, moving my body, like dancing or doing qigong or walking, are my favorite modes of getting real and connecting to my innermost self. So, and what we do in our experientials or our workshops is we take people on a journey of breath, sound, movement, and touch, and help people find what medium really works best for them.
Fantastic. So more with Peter and Monique after this break. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Real Conscious Connection. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting with your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and tap into that innate potential you have to transform your life and fly high. Please join me, your host Monica Goyal, every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Namaste.
Are you ready to shift your energy, consciousness, and limiting beliefs? Join me, Shefali Burns, every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Shifting with Shefali here on Om Times Radio. Shift the blocks, limitations, and negative energies that have kept you from experiencing a life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Are you ready to shift with Shefali? Are you ready to shine your brilliance?
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment, a philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle. Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. This is Dr. Martha Tara Lee, and I am talking about loving the skin you are in together with Peter and Monique today. And you are listening to Eros Evolution on the Om Times Radio Network. And you can share this show with your friends right now by sending them the link, omtimes.com/mobile. And to find out more about Monique and her upcoming book, you can go to juicyenlightenment.com and track her whereabouts at whereintheworldismoniquedarling.com and Peter's work at awakenedbodyandsoul.com. So just before the break and also during this show so far, we've been talking about the ways in which you can come to love the skin you are in, starting from being able to look at yourself in a vulnerable way. The second one, being able to practice in your daily lives how to come back to yourself and be a bit selfish, or coming back to your self-center. And that's a huge part of self-love. And just before the break, Monique and Peter respectively were sharing about their own personal history and suggested some practices in which all of us can do, such as meditation. Besides cuddle party and qigong, there's also meditation, walking meditation, and basically anything that makes you feel good in your body. So I'm very, very curious, Monique, you mentioned that cuddle party rules have become very much a part of you. I'm curious what some of these rules might be when it comes to cuddle parties.
Well, like the second rule is that no one has to cuddle at a cuddle party ever. And so it really dives into that there's nothing that you have to do in life. And when you can really grasp that concept, then you start in every moment giving yourself permission to start feeling within your body, within your heart, your soul, your mind, what is it that you want to be doing? What are you a hell yes to? And you start creating that experience. And it also is really great at teaching you that no is one of the most powerful gifts that anyone can be offered. Because when someone gives you a powerful no, you can actually begin to start trusting their yes, and knowing that when they're only going to say yes to the things they're generally a yes to. And so many people in life have family members or lovers or people around them that will give these half-hearted yeses, and then when they show up, then it really becomes apparent that they're not fully invested. They're not really wanting to be there. And so as you start training the people around you, hey, I want to hear a no. Like, please come and tell me a no. It's the greatest thing you can offer me, because I get that your no is a yes to yourself. And then it starts giving you permission to be able to start asking for everything that you want in life, because the people are only going to say yes to the things that they're yes to.
One of my favorite rules is the fourth rule, which is if you're a yes, say yes. And if you're a no, say no. It's like, be really authentic with yourself. Don't half-heartedly say yes just because you don't want people to look at you ill-fatedly, or just feel like, oh, you're not helping us because you're lazy. No, just come out and say no. We don't need to know your story why you want to say no. Just be authentic with us as much as you can.
And then, like, rule number 6 is you're encouraged to change your mind as often and as much as you want to. And so there's no polite amount of time. If you say yes to something, there's not a polite amount of time that you need to stick with that thing that you said yes to. You're not obligated. You're not committed to it. Are there consequences for changing your mind? Sure. But there's consequences for not also. And so it's really encouraging people to get very, very clear first within their body of like what a yes feels like, what a no feels like, and having this constant check-in, so that you can change your mind at any moment and then be able to articulate and communicate that clearly with whoever you happen to be with.
And of course, the fifth rule is if you're a maybe, say no. Yeah. If you are on the fence or just not quite feeling it, don't even try to go there. Just say no. And when you feel like you're a yes, then come back and say yes.
And I'll share one more, and then the rest you'll have to come get from my book or my cuddle party. But rule number 9, I've actually taken it out, and I use it in every single one of my workshops everywhere and in life in general. And it's that tears and laughter are welcome here. and it's every one of your emotions are welcome in this space. And so your happiness does not overvalue, like it's not valued more than your tears and your sadness and your vulnerability and your anger. And like there's really a safe space for you to come show up. And I would much rather see what's real in you than whatever it is that I'm thinking that I'm wanting the way I want you to show up. And that rule is so amazingly beautiful to, if you start living it every day and you start offering that to the people around you, that is one of the greatest ways to be able to quit lying to yourself and to start loving the skin that you're in.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to just summarize the rules. The first one, no need to cuddle. Absolutely no need to. I don't know what number it is. No being a powerful gift, so that when they are able to powerfully say no, then you can trust their yes. If you are a yes, say yes. If you are no, say no. You are always allowed to change your mind. If it's a maybe, it's a no. And tears and laughter are welcome. All emotions are welcome. So these are some of the powerful rules that you have just shared. And you mentioned your book that's coming out soon. Could you tell us more about your book?
It's coming out in 2 months, and the title's actually called Cuddle Party, How Pajamas, Human Connection, and 11 Rules Can Change Your Life. And it's really about my own personal journey and really vulnerable experiences and how each rule changed my life, and also experiences that I've seen and witnessed and been a part of other people. And then at the end of each chapter, then it takes the reader, it gives them some exercises to do to actually start using the rules in their own life.
Okay, so just to understand a little bit better, so this is your personal story and bringing life to each of these rules and giving exercises. Would anybody be able to pick up this book and then later on learn how to facilitate a cuddle party? This is not that kind of book.
No, you couldn't, like the facilitation process is a lot longer, but it would help you be able to use these rules in your life so that you can actually start playing with them and using them, and it tells you, hey, you might want to go to a cuddle party. And like one of the greatest tools that I love about Cuddle Party is when I've been asked to come speak at colleges, or I've been able to do college cuddle parties or even family cuddle parties, because the younger people, this is the greatest tools that you can start giving them to be able to communicate authentically and to be able to ask for what they want and to be able to say no to the things that they don't want. And so my oldest son is 24, and he's super excited to be able to give the book out to his friends, because then they'll be able to have these tools and use them for the rest of their life.
One of the best benefits I love from these cuddle party rules is that it takes everything from being a have to a get to. So you change the perspective, like, oh, I have to do this, or I got to do, or it's no, you get to do these things. You get to be doing what you most love and what you're most passionate about. And to me, that's where life really gets juicy and fun and exciting, is you start following your highest excitement and your passion and your joy when you really understand that you get to do things, that they're no longer have-tos.
And that's really like the new paradigm or the new culture of relationships that I've been witnessing and experiencing over the last few years, is that the metric is changing from us showing up and trying to put our best face forward or getting people to like us. Like let's read somebody's mind, or let's try and figure out what it is that they want and bend ourselves and compromise and be flexible enough that we can be that thing for them. And instead, people are starting to recognize and realize who their authentic self is, and they're showing up as more themselves. And the more they're able to do that, the more they're attracting in the people that want who you are. And so each of us, as we start being more us, whatever that is, because each of us is so, so unique, that there's the beauty of us shining really brightly as us, then that starts attracting the people that are already attracted to us. And there's no more pretending or no more have-toing or no more trying to impress anyone. People are just excited because they're authentically drawn to what it is you authentically have to offer.
Beautiful. I really love what you're sharing about the matrix has changed from best face forward to who our authentic selves are, because really all this pretending is just all these walls that we put up to protect ourselves. And I much rather live in a world that I'm real and I'm mirroring what real means to my friends and community, and they in turn feel safe to do that with me.
But I think a key ingredient to this is also kindness. You can be authentic, but also be brutally honest and hurt somebody else's feelings, and it's really unnecessary. You don't have to be brutally honest to the point where you're hurting someone else's feelings. You can be honest and also be kind and generous with what you're sharing to them. So I also feel like one of the most important things we share and love as an ingredient as a part of our classes is that willingness and kindness are the two main ingredients of the people that come to our classes, and that's what we love to share with people.
Great. I love the piece that you just shared, because I am definitely guilty of being too direct, and I have hurt people in my life. And one of the things that I have learned is how to be a lot more sensitive in reading and understanding people's energies and people's emotions. Even though I'm Asian, I don't know why. I think I'm just born different. That I actually am extremely direct. So,
Dr. Lee, don't take that personally. Don't beat yourself up. We all have to go through that maturation process of learning how to be tender with ourselves and other people. It's just a matter of becoming more present and more cognizant and more aware of ourselves and our people around us. When you're distracted, you're not really concerned with what other people's feelings are. You just tell other people what you have on your mind. You have ever met a person who is so emphatic about wanting to tell their story that they're not even listening to what you're saying, that they're just basically talking inside of their head, waiting for their turn to talk so they can talk to you, but they're really not even listening to the conversation that you're having. So what we teach is like, hey, let's have awareness about what we're each talking about so that we can share intimately with some kindness and awareness.
Definitely. I definitely agree. So this is where your present moment coaching really helps. Oh, you have this present moment retreat, right?
Yes. If you want to check that out, you can go to presentmomentretreat.com, and it's a retreat center all about teaching yoga, qigong, meditation, dance, and it's a wonderful place to just go to rest and relax and rejuvenate.
Great. Thank you. So more after this break.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Welcome to The Gathering Around My Kitchen Table on Equilarium FM, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join my guests as we integrate spirituality into everyday reality with vibrant conversations, inspired interviews, and my latest channeled guidance to inspire and brighten your day. I'm Claire Johnson, and together we'll be raising vibrations across the nations.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake. A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
And we are into the last 15 minutes of this show. We have Monique and Peter who are with us today talking about loving the skin you are in. And you can find out more about Monique by going to her website, juicyenlightenment.com. And also, you may be able to pre-order her upcoming book, cuddleparty.com, Cuddle Party at her website. And you can track her whereabouts at whereintheworldismoniquedarling.com. And to find out more about Peter, you can go to his website, awakenbodyandsoul.com. So just before the break, we were beginning to talk about the Cuddle Party rules that are out there and how they will be fleshed out in her book. So I understand that Peter and Monique runs the workshops together for the past year. So what are some of the workshops that you are running, and what are some of the workshops that are going to be coming up soon?
Well, we offer a wide variety of workshops. Most of them are around meditation and Qigong and embodiment and vulnerability and Tantra. And so we like foundations of ecstasy, and we have foundations of freedom. Like, we like foundational pieces so that people can come in and get these useful tools, but also have experiential in their bodies. And then we've had a lot of people ask us for trainings, and because we do a lot of session work with couples in particular, being able to put that spark back in their marriage and be able to be authentically, kindly, honest with one another and be able to become allies. And so we opened up 2 things down in Mexico, close to where Peter's retreat was that he opened. And so it's going to be happening in May. We have a couples retreat first, and it's limited to 10 couples that get to come and really, really dive deep with one another and be able to practice these tools of loving their own skin and then being able to love their partner even more from that place. And then anyone that wants to stick around, then we're also doing a tantric facilitator practitioner training for the next week. And so it's a really gorgeous, gorgeous retreat center that people can, it's luxurious. And there's a pool that goes right out to the beach. And so you can find all of that stuff on both of my websites. And we'd love to have anyone that's interested. Like, we have people that are talking about coming from London and from way outside of the U.S. that are really excited about these trainings and having the experiential so they can then take out their greatest gifts into the world.
Great.
It's a place really to just go and be your most relaxed self. I mean, the water is very warm. The air is temperate. There's not a lot of distractions other than the beach and the beautifulness of the surroundings. And we have a great workshop space for us to do some facilitation and have people go on deep dives with themselves and with their partner.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, for listeners out there, do check out their websites, juicyenlightenment.com and also awakenbodyandsoul.com. So I understand that, Peter, you are also writing a book.
Yeah, briefly, I'll give you the summary. It's called the 9S Path to Longevity, and it's basically a toolbox for people to utilize to help keep your health at an optimum level. And we all do things that help. We all have behaviors that are either good or bad for us, and this book is all about how to keep those behaviors that keep us running at an optimum level all the time. And the idea is that you write down these 9 different S's that are very good for you. So the first S is silence. The second S is sleep. The third S is swimming and sweating. The fourth S is salads and seeds. The fifth S is sharing. The sixth S is sex. The seventh S is singing. The eighth S is sun. And the last S is smiling. So the idea is that you write down these 9 S's on your refrigerator or your bathroom mirror or somewhere prominent where you're always having your eyes, and you're reminding yourself like, oh yeah, did I get outside? Did I connect with nature? Did I connect with my partner? Have I eaten a good meal today? Have I exercised? Have I been creative? These are all different things that help nourish not only our body but our soul and our emotions. So it's just a great way to help keep yourself at an optimum level for self-care. And I've been on this journey for the past 10 years or so now, and I want to tell my story of how it's affected me.
Great. I love your 9S. I really do. I really love it. I really do. I really want to get your book now, especially the chapter about sex. Of course. So this show is always exploring the link between sexuality and spirituality. What would you have to say about the link between the two?
Is that everything is sacred. And so many people think that you have to have one or the other. And, I grew up feeling that way, that I was such a sexual being, and sexuality was only for a man and a woman when they're married. And it was just, and for the gift of procreation and having children, and everything else is spiritual. I go out and transcend things. And there's nothing to transcend, sex and making love. And you can make love to the ocean. You can make love to the wind. But especially when you're communing with another person, then there's nothing more spiritual. Or for me, there's nothing more like having the ability to touch divinity, whether it's God, goddess, universe, your higher self, whatever that is for you. That's the most beautiful link to be able to connect your soul, your spirit, your body, is between sex and spirituality. And so to me, they're interchangeable, and the one builds on the other. And it's kind of hilarious to me now that there's such a division in the different groups. And it's guys, they're side by side, and all they're doing is enriching and enlivening one another.
Thank you so much for sharing. So just to be clear, how can people order Peter's book? Is it awakenbodyandsoul.com? I'm not sure which one.
I'll set up that when the time comes. I'll set up that feature. You can order my book through that website, and I'll probably have a link on Monique's website too, Juicy Enlightenment, so people can order it from either spot.
But he's still working on his, so it's just going to be a little bit longer than mine.
I see. And
but it'll be well worth it.
Yeah, and people can subscribe to your news feeds, right, on your through your
Correct.
website, so they definitely wouldn't be missing out.
No, and really, really, truly, the easiest way that people stay in contact with both of us is the whereintheworldismoniquedarling.com website, because it's so very easy to see where we're going to be. And then it also has our blogs and what's going on. And we're going to start putting videos up from the places that we're at. It already has pictures and stories, but videos are going to be coming, so then people can get to tidbits and things from our books and from our experiences and things that they can take into their life and from our deeply vulnerable ways. So I'm really excited for that.
Dr. Lee?
Hello.
Hello.
And just now Peter talked about the Present Moment Retreats, which is presentmomentretreat.com. You have another website, which is for the place that you are doing the workshops.
Correct. That's
the Mexico
at Mex.
workshop?
Yeah, this is the Mexico workshop. May 3rd to the 10th is the couples retreat, and then May 11th to the 18th is a Tantra facilitator practitioner retreat, where you get to learn more about Tantrika practices and how to more deeply connect to yourself and your partner and other people.
And that website's what?
That's that website is mexlux.com. So MEXLUX.com. And you can check out the beautiful paradise of what that place has to offer. It's just gorgeous, and would love to have anyone come and be a part of it.
Great. So we have 2 more minutes to the end of the show. Is there any last words that you have?
Well, really, what I like to offer people when they say, what's your greatest nugget? It's to say the things that you're most afraid to say. Because the things that are ruining our relationships are the things that we're not saying. It's never the things that you say. So really make it a practice in your life to dive deep every day and see if there's 1 or 2 things that were really scary, or you were holding back, something that you really want, or something that you're really afraid to talk to your partner or your family about, and give yourself the courage to be able to go and say it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I concur with that. Our experientials basically help people just connect and be at one with everything, which automatically allows you to be if you can be vulnerable with the universe, you can be vulnerable with anybody. And that's what our Qigong, that's what our touch exercises take people through. And we do pujas that help people become more vulnerable. So it's just, we give people a toolbox of how to be more themselves, how to be more you.
Yeah.
And that's, if you can only get that as a nugget from this last hour, that's probably the most important thing, is just you becoming more you, and being
what the world needs,
and being passionate about it. When I became passionate about being passionate is when my life changed. And to me, that's what excites and sparks things to happen. So I just feel very grateful that I've been able to find Monique and teach what I love and synergize our expertise and passions together.
Yeah. I feel that both of you are working very well together. And so this has been Dr. Martha Tara Lee with Monique Darling and Peter Petersen, and you can find out about them by going to juicyenlightenment.com and also awakenbodyandsoul.com. We have been talking about how you can love the skin you are in. This has been Eros Evolution. Next week I have a different guest, and be sure to tune in to Eros Evolution next week.